Every month, millions of people open a budgeting app believing they're one spreadsheet away from financial freedom. They track every coffee, every grocery bill, every subscription they forgot to cancel. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most wealthy people didn't get rich because they budgeted better. Some of the richest investors in the world barely think about budgeting at all. So what do they focus on instead? And why does this one shift change everything? By the end of this video, you'll understand why budgeting might actually be slowing down your journey to wealth and what to replace it with. Budgeting isn't bad advice. It's just incomplete advice. For decades, personal finance gurus have preached the same gospel. Track your spending, cut the lattes, clip the coupons, and one day you'll wake up wealthy. It's simple, it's teachable, and it works for a while. Budgeting gives people something they desperately want: control. When your income feels unpredictable and the future feels uncertain, watching your spending is one of the few things you can control. That's genuinely valuable. Budgeting builds awareness. It stops you from bleeding money on things you don't even remember buying. But awareness isn't the same thing as wealth, and this is where budgeting quietly reaches its ceiling. There's a hard mathematical limit to how much you can save. You can only cut so many expenses before you're left with nothing to cut. You can skip coffee, cancel streaming services, eat rice and beans for a year, and you'll still hit a wall because your expenses can only shrink to zero. Your income, on the other hand, has no ceiling at all. Here's what changes once you study how wealthy people actually think. They stop optimizing what they spend and start optimizing what they own and what they earn. Instead of asking, how do I spend less? They ask, how do I build something that makes money without me trading more hours for it? That single reframing is the difference between a person who is financially careful and a person who becomes financially free. This doesn't mean budgeting is useless. It means budgeting is a starting tool, not a finish line. It's step one of a much longer staircase, and most people never take step two. Strip away the noise, and wealth building comes down to three forces working together. First, increasing income. Every dollar you earn is a dollar you can eventually put to work. A 10% raise or a new skill that doubles your rate does more for your net worth in 1 year than years of clipping coupons ever could. Second, owning appreciating assets. Stocks, real estate, businesses, index funds, things that grow in value or generate income whether or not you're actively working. This is what separates a paycheck from wealth. A paycheck stops the moment you stop working. An asset keeps paying you regardless. Third, investing consistently over decades. Not timing the market, not chasing the next big thing, just showing up month after month and letting compound growth do what it does best, quietly, patiently, and often invisible, until the results become impossible to ignore. Picture two people starting at the exact same income, the exact same age, with the exact same amount of debt. Person A is meticulous. Every expense is tracked. Every unnecessary subscription is canceled. They pack lunch every single day and feel genuinely proud of the discipline it takes. Over 20 years, this discipline saves them a meaningful amount of money, real, tangible progress. Person B takes a different approach. They keep a simple budget, nothing obsessive, just enough to avoid overspending. But their real energy goes elsewhere. They spend evenings learning a skill that raises their income. They negotiate a raise instead of skipping birthday gifts. They automate a portion of every paycheck into low-cost index funds and never touch it. They let their income grow while their spending stays roughly flat. 20 years later, the two lives look nothing alike. Person A is financially responsible, debt-free, and stable, but still trading time for money, still one job loss away from real stress. Person B, through decades of compounding, a growing income, and consistent investing, has built a portfolio that quietly produces more in a year than Person A's entire annual salary. Neither person was reckless. Neither person got lucky. The difference wasn't willpower. It was where they aimed their willpower. There's a psychological reason budgeting feels so satisfying, even when it isn't the biggest lever available. Saving $3 on coffee is immediate, visible, and easy to measure. Negotiating a raise, learning a new skill, or investing for 20 years is slow, invisible, and uncomfortable in the short term. Our brains are wired to chase quick, certain wins over slow, uncertain ones, even when the slow win is worth 100 times more. This is why so many people feel busy managing money without ever actually building any. None of this means throw out your budget. It means change what you're optimizing for. Budget enough to stop overspending. That's the floor, not the goal. Automate your investing so it happens whether you feel motivated or not. Put your real energy into growing your income, because that's the lever with no ceiling. Resist lifestyle inflation every time your income goes up, so the gap between what you earn and what you spend keeps widening. And instead of only cutting expenses, spend those extra hours building assets that can eventually work without you. The goal isn't to become the world's best budgeter. It's to become someone who owns assets that work while